3, 2, 1. This is Milwaukee's Best NBA Podcast. All right, you're listening to Milwaukee's Best NBA Podcast. So glad to be back. Aaron Freese, Tea Time English, Tyler Tea Time English. Man, I'm so hyped to be back, man.
Yeah, it's been a while, man.
Holy shit, it's been a year. It's been a whole year. We picked a really dumb time to stop the podcast.
Seeing as Milwaukee had their best season of since what?
Since they won the championship.
Since ever. No, since even before then.
Well, they won 66 games that year, I think. So I think it still remains to be seen if they.
I think they'll beat it.
Think they'll beat it?
Yep.
So they're 48-16 right now. They gotta go 20. Wait, no. I don't even think they can beat it. Yeah, they'd have to win out 66-16.
You don't think they can win out?
No. They're gonna lose the Thunder.
That's a test question there for you.
All right. Anyway, we're back. It's glad to be back. Oh my God, so much to catch up on. No, I remember why we stopped. Is because Facebook put that.
Facebook was
stupid update.
Yeah.
Facebook put that stupid update, so I had to broadcast live through my page, and then, we got a lot to talk about today, though. I'm so happy. I'm gonna say I'm happy at least 20 times during this podcast. The Bucks are 48-16, like I said before. Best team in the NBA since, pretty much not the start of the season, because the Warriors were better than them for a while. I think the Raptors were ahead of them for a good amount of time. The Bucks are they're doing something I didn't expect. The Bucks are, what was your win prediction? What was your win prediction?
For the Bucks?
Yeah, beginning of the season.
Oh, I can't remember.
Coming in fresh off a series loss against the Celtics. Expectations probably down.
I think I said 50. I might have said 50 games.
Before or after the new coach hire?
After the new coach hire. I did. That was the start of the season. I'm pretty sure I said 50.
You have a prediction?
But you know what? After the second game, I have it. If I dug through Facebook, I made a post and I put in group chat somewhere that the Bucks would be the number one seed in the East this year. After the second game, it only took 2 games to watch, and and their offense was just, I don't know. I was floored by how they were playing, but I wasn't too sure if they could, hang on the whole season playing like that, and they did. I mean, they proved me wrong, and they're still proving me wrong. I'm still doubting the Bucks.
I'm still pinching myself a little bit.
Yeah, I think everybody is. I mean,
I think I was right around there.
I'm so used to, the Bucks starting off hot or, getting a hot streak and then just kind of falling off. But Giannis, man, what more can you say?
MVP. We got to go over so many things because
I'm not even concerned about the MVP.
I'm not either. It's regular season award. It doesn't mean shit.
It doesn't.
I'm not concerned. It's 3 guys right now. It's James Harden, Giannis, and it's Paul George.
Exactly.
I think it's those 3.
100%.
I heard Kawhi at the beginning of the season when he first came back.
Kawhi's not a bad choice, but I don't see the takeover factor with, between. I'd give it to, I'd probably say Russell Westbrook before, you could put Kawhi in the conversation.
Yeah, well, Westbrook's tough because he got Paul George.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. He would be fourth. He would be fourth behind the 3 for sure. Paul George is having a hell of a year. I mean, this is by far his best season. He's playing like he just yeah, something clicked over the summer for sure.
Coach of the year? Are you saying Mike Malone, Budenholzer, or Nick Nurse?
I think you got to go with Bud. I mean, it's
same.
It's no question there. I mean, he's just to turn the team around from being a bottom seed team to number one in the East, number one in the NBA right away. That's amazing. People talk about. I got a certain love for J Kidd, and I think he'll still be a good coach.
That makes one of us.
Yeah, no, I know. Hey, a lot of people don't like J Kidd. I don't know why. I thought he was a great coach. I mean, maybe not great. I thought he was a good coach. He was a good coach with great potential, and I wanted him to grow with the team. Obviously, we had a young team, and we had John Henson, so that was a problem. I thought if you give J Kidd, Brook Lopez, come on now. That's a completely different ball game. And then for the players that we've added over this year,
his systems were so
now
bad, man.
Paul Gasol, it's amazing.
His systems,
even our rookies.
His systems were terrible. His defensive system was just unrealistic. No NBA team's gonna do that for 82 games. All right, we can't go on a Jason Kidd tangent here. We got limited amount of time, and I can't pay for unlimited Spotify hours. So. Rookie of the year, Luka Doncic. I don't know. I still don't know.
Doncic. I
60-some games this season. I still don't know question about that. I still don't know how to pronounce his name, so it's Doncic. Right?
There's no question about that one, man. He's playing like he's been in the NBA for like 5-6 years. I mean, he just looks so comfortable out there. The NBA's got a problem on their hands as soon as Porzingis comes back. I mean, the West is just think about the West next year. Oh man.
Yeah, the entire Euro League is going to be playing in Dallas.
Not even just Dallas, though. I mean, just look at all the threats that's around there, and then you don't know what's going to happen after free agency. So, the West is still as dominant as they've been for the last, 20 years.
I'm looking forward to the free agency episode of this podcast.
Yeah.
Some people really think that free agency is like the best part of the NBA, and sometimes I tend to agree with them. We care more about where players are going to end up versus what they do in the actual season. Sometimes.
True. Very true.
While we're on the Bucks topic, sort of, let's keep going with the Bucks. We're Bucks fans. This is a Milwaukee podcast. We're gonna talk some Bucks. Wait, do you want to start with last night?
No.
You don't want to?
No, I mean you can't even really talk about last night's game. Right. It was just they're on a 4 or 5 game Western Conference trip. They're in a completely different time zone and.
Come back, get some home cooking, get your legs back.
Yeah, they're done right now. They need a break. They need to take time, travel back to Milwaukee, relax. Then they'll be ready for the next game.
But I know they only have 13 wins, but Phoenix has been given all the best teams in the league.
Yeah, they seem to.
They've been giving them hell.
Like to play against the best teams for some reason.
That whole organization.
They beat the Lakers the night before then too.
Yeah, that organization sucks though. I'd hate to be a Suns fan right now.
Yeah.
If anyone out there listening is a Suns fan, can you please tell me why?
The Suns have been terrible since
the beginning of time.
Since Amari and Steve Nash left.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been just a shit show over there. And the management is so bad. I don't understand. You got a franchise player in Devin Booker, and why can't you get pieces around? I mean, they got Aiden this year.
They've messed up every single draft pick since, I don't know, what?
A while. I mean, even Aiden. Why not get Doncic? I thought he was going number 1 for sure. I thought that was a wrap,
Yeah, I think that was a stupid pick.
Yeah, I mean, it was...
DeAndre Ayton's a great player, but that was a dumb pick.
And that's just drafting by positions instead of drafting the best available.
He's not going to...
Bottom line.
He's not going to turn a franchise around.
No.
He's solid, and he's even got almost an outdated skill set. He doesn't shoot the 3.
No. He'll be a good player for sure. Don't get me wrong. He'll be a solid player, but Doncic is something special, and I think everybody saw that.
So we're not putting too much stock into the Bucks' loss last night. I'm certainly not. I had some pretty negative thoughts last night. Like, I think I was telling you this earlier, but I was like, how are the Bucks gonna beat the Celtics in 7 games if they face them in the second round? We're gonna dive into the Celtics' problems later because they are in bad shape. They're one of 2 teams I think are hanging on the cliff right now. Them and the Lakers, just 2 powerful dynasties since the NBA was, it's always been Lakers, Celtics throughout the 80s and basically whenever. 90s was Jordan, but and Hakeem Olajuwon, but Lakers, Celtics, like an age-old rivalry, and now both those teams are. Celtics, I think, should be kind of scared about what happens this offseason. I think they think it's pretty locked up. They think they're trading for AD.
No, that team's wide open after this year.
Kyrie's gone. They could. I think Kyrie's gone. AD could. AD. Who do they have? I mean, they can try it. I think Horford could leave too. He's got a player option that he can decline. We gotta get back to the Bucks though. I think I'm just kind of so excited to talk NBA. I'm just down to go on whatever tangent, like whatever thought goes in my mind.
It's been a while, man.
Middleton won for the concerning thing about last night's game. Chris Middleton 1 for 13. That's awful.
I mean, but he's been doing that all season. And people get blinded by him being an all-star and him averaging 17, 18 a game. But the fact of the matter is he has terrible games. His games aren't just like, a regular off game. His games are like J.R. Smith bad games, like, come on, man. Like, what are you out there doing? And that's, that's just the type of player that he is. He's going to shoot his shots. His percentage kind of reminds me of Brandon Knight. Like, sure, if you shoot 25 shots a game, you're bound to make a bunch of shots, but at the same time, like, his inconsistencies, they show, and especially late in the games, against the game, what game was that? Against, who did the Bucks lose to before Phoenix?
Utah.
At the end of the game, he couldn't get it going at all. And I thought it was a bad game plan to put the game in his hands when Giannis had 40 points. Like, he should have had the ball and he should have been, doing his thing the whole last 2 minutes of that game. But instead, they tried to go to Chris Middleton, and I think that was Bud's way of getting Chris Middleton rolling for the playoffs. Let's see who could really close out games. Obviously, the Bucks, have a playoff spot locked up, so they're not really fighting for too much other than, first seed. But, you got to test out your team and see what happens, especially in those clutch moments. And Chris Middleton, I don't see him being that much of a clutch player. He only hits those threes and those big shots when he's wide open. I don't see him hitting too many, turnaround jump shots just in somebody's face for, the last 15 seconds of the game.
I kind of disagree. In the early game, I always see him hitting contested jumpers. I've even had throughout the game. I shouldn't say just early game.
Well, yeah, no, throughout the game, sure. But when it comes down to those clutch moments, I just don't see him being that takeover player. And which kind of brings me into his contract that's coming up. And I personally do not feel like we should re-sign Chris Middleton. I think it'll just be a waste of money, honestly.
So gun to your head, straight up $20 million. What is it? You signing him or not?
$20 million? No. For a while I was saying that, but just looking at the pieces that we have on the team and then looking at Bledsoe's contract. Bledsoe's contract is such a huge piece in how much Chris Middleton is going to get paid. And I don't know if everybody realizes that or not, but the Bucks are going to look at that. He just signed for $17.5 million. Honestly, we could do without Chris Middleton. Our team they'd bounce back. I don't see the Bucks losing 20 more games because Chris Middleton's not on the team. But if we were missing a player like a Bledsoe or a Brogdon, I think I think we go down. Like I think we really hurt off of that, especially Brogdon.
We could have used Bledsoe and Brogdon. Keep in mind they sat out. Both of them were out against Utah.
Yeah, they were, and that's
which is
a
crazy.
part of the
I was
reason we
wondering
lost.
why Bud put out this lineup at the beginning of the Jazz game. It was Giannis, Mirotic, Lopez, Middleton, and Ilyasova. It was like apparently the third tallest starting lineup all time, like 470 inches or something like that. It's a lot of inches, but I was like, is this Bud being a genius? But then I didn't realize that. I guess I couldn't hear the broadcast, but nobody made mention. Brogdon and Bledsoe when they're out, that was huge.
Yeah, they're huge players.
You're
I
talking
was
about
I was
big
on
shot
I was on
Brog.
Bledsoe's ass the whole start of the season.
Oh, we were on his ass last year, especially when he got.
I just thought, I thought he would have been the player that I would say to not keep because his contract and how much he would be making. But the 17.5 is a steal, man.
Yeah.
He could get paid more than that, but I think he loves playing in Milwaukee.
It's a steal if he does well in the playoffs this year. I mean, I don't know how you could do any worse than getting fucking embarrassed by Terry Rozier.
Terry Rozier, yeah.
That was.
Yeah, that was embarrassing. That was an embarrassing.
Really can't
series
believe
there.
that Bledsoe has a worse playoff series than he did last year. There's no way.
I don't see that either. I personally don't see that either.
We saw that was like Bledsoe at his worst. He was turning the ball over. He was driving into the lane, getting plugged up, but making terrible passes out of the lane. I think that's something he's gotten better at this year.
Right.
I've noticed is that when he doesn't go on his YMCA drives and then they just die in the paint and then they pass the ball out. Somebody picks it off and then 2-point dunk the other way or 3-point or whatever, what have you.
They're just playing better as a unit. I mean, the chemistry is there for sure. I think if Milwaukee had the choice, they would keep the entire, the cast that they have right now. I think that's ideal for them.
I'd love to keep the band together. I'd love to keep these guys together. It's going to cost you some money. I think the Bledsoe deal helps. Back to Middleton real quick. I've been trying to say this now. I wanted to get this out there before we go down get on the Bledsoe train. Thing that pissed me off last night about Chris Middleton, there was one play he pulls down an offensive rebound, right? Great. Awesome. Instead of passing it to, I believe it was a wide open Mirotic, he backs up to about 20 feet, 5 left on the shot clock, kind of does his little dancing thing where he goes up, comes back down, try to get the guy in the air. But shoots the contested shot, draws back iron, and I think the Suns went on like a 10-0 run after that. And
that's all it takes is a little momentum push right there, and
I've been standing up for Middleton this entire season. I was like, especially like when he was hot in the beginning, but also when he went into his little slump, I was like, yeah, Middleton does this. I think all good shooters do this from time to time. But he's not coming back out.
No.
He's not coming back out unless he has another come to Jesus moment like he did in the playoffs last year. I can't sign him either. Like over $20 million. Like him and Bledsoe have pretty much matched each other in production this year.
Exactly.
And that's saying a lot for Bledsoe, who's a worse 3-point shooter and gets most of his points through twos. He's also a distributor. He touches the ball more than Chris, but Chris is usually the one ending up with the shot over Bledsoe. So I think with Bledsoe's more efficient season, I don't really. Middleton's having trouble fitting into this kind of system. Of all the starting 5, right? Middleton's the odd man out,
and that's because he's too ball dominant. He's too ball dominant, and we already have a ball dominant superstar. And I've been saying that for a long time now, but
Brogdon's not ball dominant, and when he is ball dominant, like when he does his drives,
it's usually when Giannis is out of the game.
Because Giannis kicks it out to Brogdon. Brogdon drives back in. Giannis goes back, kind of, I don't know.
Maybe. And that's just the thing. The Bucks need an off-ball shooting guard. And Chris Middleton's an on-ball shooting guard.
Who'd you say before? JJ Redick?
JJ Redick, dude. Give us JJ Redick back. Oh, man. Honestly, I think that's the difference between us making it to the Eastern Conference Finals and us going to the finals. You know, I think that's just the difference right there. You get somebody that's off ball. Giannis controls the ball the whole game anyways, you know. Let him do his thing. And when somebody's wide open, he always finds them. JJ Redick wide open, are you kidding me? Just like Brook Lopez. They kick it out to Brook Lopez all the time, and he's just sitting there ready for the shot. Chris Middleton is not. When he does that, he's a perfect player, and he does it from time to time. But a lot of the time, he has to have the ball in his hands in order to get going. If he doesn't have the ball in his hands right away in like the first quarter, I think he has a slow start. You know, he has a slow start to the game, and it's hard for him to get going throughout the game. Then he starts forcing up shots, trying to get himself going, and it's just not working. I think that takes away from our offense so much.
I think Redick would have been a cool trade to make at the deadline. Obviously, that wasn't going to happen.
But he should be a free agent.
I believe you're right. He's a free agent this offseason.
And depending on the playoffs, who knows what'll happen there.
Let's talk about some additions. You were just touching on guys that kind of put the Bucks over the next level. Recent additions. I know anybody listening to this is probably old news by now. When they traded for Mirotic, that's already been a good. That's proven to be a good move.
Yeah. Got
rid of, I believe it was 4 second-rounders.
Good.
Second-round picks in the NBA are really a crapshoot.
Yeah, exactly.
You might as well not have them.
Exactly.
You're rolling it's a flip of the dice. Like, first-round picks is what I value, and even then I only value them like top 10, even on certain draft years.
Yeah, because you never know what you get. You could draft somebody at 28, and he still ends up being a superstar.
Right. How shocked were you to see that they picked up Pau Gasol?
It was funny. As soon as I was pulling into work with my coworker, and it was like 20 minutes before they said Pau Gasol was being released. He told me, I was like, "Oh wow!" And then he joked about it. He's like, "Oh, what if he was on the Bucks?" I'm like, I don't know. I said,
like, oh shit!
Yeah, and then 20 minutes later, yeah, like what? That was a great addition, man. I mean, you bring in
shooter.
You bring in not only a champion. What is he? 2-time champion. With the Lakers?
One with the Spurs, one with the Lakers. No, not the Spurs.
No, not the Spurs. 2 with the Lakers, I believe.
2 with the Lakers.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you bring in a 2-time champion. He's obviously got that experience. He's got multiple different years of playoff experience, and he's just a smart player. He's a veteran.
Why not? He pissed me off when the Bucks played against him.
You know what I kind of just thought in the back of my head, I'm like, well, maybe they got him just to play against his brother in Toronto, because that was after Toronto went and got Marc Gasol. So, they might just be getting prepared for that playoff series.
I have to think it's more than that.
You know what? Obviously, it's more than that, but that might have a big reason to why they picked him up. They just picked him up, and how many games left for the season? 20 games.
Less than that now.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they did it for a reason, and when they play against each other, it's more of a mind game. It's not. I wouldn't say one is better than the other, honestly, when they play against each other.
18 games left.
Then think about that. They've been playing against each other for, how long? How many years of their life?
Straight out of the womb.
Exactly. So, I don't know. It was a smart move regardless, even if that's not the case.
Love it.
He's Pau Gasol is the man. I remember he was killing it in that finals with Kobe.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's not the same kind of player now, but he still plays a huge, role in pick and roll, and he's like, again, right. that basketball IQ is so, key in playoff.
You heard why he agreed to sign here, right?
No,
because Mirotic was going on about how much he loved Milwaukee.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a report that came out. They interviewed Mirotic, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, I love the locker room. We all watch film together. It's like being in a family." When I heard that, I was like, "Wow, this team could be special. They could have that."
It definitely is a special team.
Spurs-like chemistry that they had with Duncan.
It definitely is a special team, and a lot of people may not like what I have to say about the Bucks, and I still believe. Even to this day, even after watching all these games, I still believe the Bucks aren't they're not gonna go to the finals. I hate to break it to people at Milwaukee's. They
it's
hate
a sober.
me for it.
I think it's. I don't want to call it a reality because it hasn't happened yet, but it's definitely a sobering thought.
Yeah,
it's a sobering possibility.
We have to. We still again, and I said it last year. It's baby steps. It's baby steps in winning an NBA title. Nobody wins an NBA title right away unless you just built a super team. If you think about how Miami did it, they didn't even win the finals right away. They didn't even win a championship right away. They lost their first year.
Yeah, it
exactly.
took a year.
You have to
growing pains.
Exactly. Even the Warriors. There wasn't just a jump to the NBA Finals right away. Believe me,
right. It was firing Mark Jackson and hiring Steve Kerr.
Well, even then, Mark Jackson got them to that point to even be considered a good playoff team.
Right.
But Milwaukee.
Let's just enjoy it. How about this? Let's just
but that when I say that, people assume that
I'm
saying,
you're a Bucks hater.
Exactly. I'm not. I'm enjoying. Trust me, this is the best Bucks basketball I've ever seen in my life.
Sucks because
Giannis will be one of my favorite players ever.
Right.
In the game.
I think he already is for me. I think he's already my favorite player ever.
He's amazing, and I just want the rest of the team. I kind of want to see the rest of the team be on that championship level. And they're day after day, they're kind of showing me like they're close. They're very close, but we're missing something. I don't know what it is. At first I said a backup big man, then we got Mirotic. Mirotic is awesome, That's a perfect pickup. Then we got Pau Gasol, that's perfect. I don't know what we're missing right now, but we're still missing something. We're missing some fire.
A number 2. That's what we're missing.
Yeah.
We're missing a good number 2.
We don't have a clear number 2. We don't have if Giannis, and people hate to hear this also, if Giannis got injured, what happens to the Bucks? Who takes over? We don't have a single player that will just step up and say we're going to try to force Chris Middleton to be it, but it's not going to work. Yeah. So then you got to rely on team basketball, and team basketball just doesn't always work. It doesn't always work like that.
To all the other Bucks fans, I'm going to say this: enjoy the ride. I'm going to be. I mean, sucks. I've only been to 3 games this year. Enjoy the ride, though. I'm going to be at every single playoff game. Every home playoff game, I'm going to be Coors Lighted out of my gourd.
I think I made it to 2 last year.
In regular season? Or
no,
playoffs?
2 playoffs. Yeah.
No, what about this season? How many regular season games?
I've
only been to 3 this year.
I was at maybe 1 preseason game, and then I think I did maybe 6 or 7 regular seasons so far. Maybe 6.
Really? You've been to 6?
Yeah, 5 or 6.
I went to opening night. Saw them beat the Pacers. They're 3-0 when that's right. I saw them lose to the Suns. Brook Lopez 0 for 12.
I saw them lose to the Raptors. I remember that game.
But yeah, let's enjoy the ride. It's gonna be fun. I mean, I'm gonna be with them all the way. Realistically, I'm gonna tell myself to expect 2nd round loss versus the Celtics, but I think it can be. I think we can get farther than that. We need to hit some magic, and we need.
It really depends on the matchups. I can't really predict and say, who the Bucks gonna lose to right now. Right, I don't.
Early.
Yeah, it's way too early. The standings are just all over the place right now. You still got Indiana that's hanging in at 3rd.
That's fascinating. They lose Oladipo. You think, they're deflated. I counted Indiana out right away. As soon as I saw them go down, I was like, Indiana's done. No way. But then the Celtics even tripped. Let's move on to the Celtics. That's who we're going to move on next. They tripped even farther down than I thought Indiana would.
The Celtics, in my mind, at the beginning of the season, they were favorites in my mind to win the East. Not to win the regular season East, but to
come out of the East and be in the finals. Yeah, me too.
And I can't say that won't happen.
We all kind of coughed at the Kawhi signing, or at the trade.
Yeah.
Like, we all kind of, we're all kind of like, that's not going to really mean anything. He's going to sit out next year.
Yeah, Toronto's...
I counted Toronto out, and I thought the Celtics were going to definitely take control of the
craziest
East.
thing about Toronto is it's not their star players. It's their role players. It's their bench players. That's just been turning on. What's the name? Sakiam?
Siakam.
Siakam?
Pascal
Oh, man.
Siakam.
If the Bucks had him, okay, we can't talk. He's just a great player. He's a great player.
Yeah.
And then they got Sergi. He's pretty good. They've got now they got Marc Gasol. They've got Van Vliet. Think about Van Vliet. He's an excellent role player. They've got who else? They got Norman Powell. I mean, the Toronto set up for a decent playoff push for sure.
All right, back to the Celtics though. Celtics, I completely agree with all what you just said. Toronto's gonna be a tough out. Really, it's between Toronto, Boston, Milwaukee. That's who it is for me. I'm counting Philly out because I really don't think they have much of a bench. They don't have any bench. Joel Embiid's hurt right now. I think they're. But okay, so right now, season ends today. 5-4, 76ers Celtics. I picked the Celtics there. They've beat Philly all season. They match up super well. Horford's a nightmare for Embiid.
Horford's a nightmare for every team. Think about how he plays against the Bucks.
When Horford plays like he is right now, Horford's been playing extremely well lately. He showed it against the Bucks. He's shown it against the 76ers. When Horford brings out Joel Embiid, the 76ers are lost.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't, because then it opens up down low because Embiid thrives in the paint, right? Horford has to drag him out because Horford's he's a 3-point threat, right?
Right.
So when that happens, it's game over for Philadelphia. Ben Simmons Ben Simmons can't shoot the 3. I think Philly's one and done this year. I think out of the top 4,
I wouldn't go that far.
I think out of the top 4,
Tobias Harris is just he's a problem,
now,
and that's why they're gonna get to.
Keep in mind. I'm only saying this because assuming they have the Celtics first round, right?
Yeah.
I think if another team if they have the Hornets, sure, give me the 76ers, but the Celtics match up so well against the 76ers, I can't pick them. So
yeah, I don't know. That's gonna be a tough game, and again, it depends. It might depend on who has home court advantage at that point. You know,
it could. 76ers.
I mean, a tough series.
Philadelphia's really good at home.
Yeah.
So who do you blame for the Celtics struggles right now?
It's just the team. I mean, you can't blame one person. A lot of people, I hear a lot of people say that Kyrie's the problem, and they try to bring up the stats like that the Celtics play better without him on the floor. But you gotta have Kyrie Irving on the floor. Come on now, let's not be silly here. Let's not overthink it. He's the best player on that team, hands down. And when it comes to playoff basketball, who else has that kind of experience other than maybe Al Horford, who's only made a long push in the playoffs once under Bud in Atlanta.
I'd like to echo one point though.
Gordon Hayward hasn't been there.
Sure.
Marcus Smart, their only run was last year, and that was with Kyrie Irving.
I want to echo a point though about Kyrie. Why I think Kyrie's the problem. Kyrie works so well with LeBron because LeBron was a ball dominant star. Kyrie is a star who thrived when he didn't have to do it all.
Oh no, that's a whole nother.
Now he has to do it all, and he doesn't bring it every night.
That's a whole nother topic
he doesn't
for me.
Bring
Trust
it
me,
night.
if it was my choice, Kyrie Irving would have never left Cleveland. They would have still been playing there now. They would have still been playing there now.
That was Kyrie's pride.
LeBron and
he
Kyrie
came back
all day.
and had to apologize, but
I think he realizes it now that he fucked up. He definitely shouldn't have left.
The reason I blame Kyrie is because of what he did to the locker room when he said, "Ask me July 1st." All right?
Right.
What that tells me as a teammate is, well, does this guy really, he's not sure if he wants to play here, and that doesn't just apply to the future, it applies to the present day.
I saw an article today saying that he's disconnected from the, he's disattached from the rest of the Celtics, and I can see it. I mean, you can see it in the play.
I believe there's footage
You could see it in his interviews, his post game interviews. He doesn't want to talk to the press. He doesn't want to, I think he just wants to get the season over with.
He's checked out. He wants to go play on the Knicks.
The Knicks, come on. If Kyrie's going anywhere, you already know where he's going. He's going to team up with LeBron in LA,
we'll see.
And going back on this championship run they should have been on in the first place.
Well,
I think a big priority of him leaving the Cleveland Cavs too was the owner. I mean, he's just a terrible owner. Right. He's a bad owner. That team will never win a championship again.
Is that Dan Gilbert?
Yeah. That team will never win a championship again as long as he's the owner. I'm sorry to break it to Cleveland Cavs fans.
They're about to have another first round pick this year, and
and blow it again.
They won't.
How many have they had? I mean,
they had Wiggins. They had Kyrie. Wasn't Kyrie
Bennett.
Yeah, they had back to backs.
Yeah. What are you guys doing? If it was, and that was all without LeBron being there. Obviously, they had LeBron.
Right.
You can't miss on that one. But other than that, like Kyrie panned out for him. Obviously, they won a championship with him.
Thing about
but that was because LeBron came back and helped them out to win the championship. They could have won it. They should have won a championship a long time ago. As many first round picks they had.
Right. So Kyrie is my number one to blame. I think he broke the locker room. I think it's beyond repair. I think they'll band together for the playoffs, which is why I still think they can beat Milwaukee in a 7-game series. My brother called me crazy for that last night.
Oh no, I think the same thing. Somebody actually Brad Weber made a bet with me that I think we got a $20 bet on the line that whoever wins, between the Celtics or the Bucks in the playoffs, whoever
I'm assuming
goes to
he
the
picked
finals.
the Bucks, right?
Yeah, he picked the Bucks. I picked the Celtics, and if neither team wins, then neither has to pay up. But still,
right. Like if they don't face each other.
He asked me what team, and I said the Celtics, and this was probably about a month ago now. And I still, no matter how much of a slide they're on, I still think the same thing.
They're gonna push all their bullshit aside.
I call it star power, and you've got to have star power in the NBA in order to win finals. And think about the team, man. I mean, think about Jason Tatum, and Kyrie, Gordon Hayward.
Jason Tatum's having a pretty terrible year.
Horford. Tatum's not having a terrible year.
Not terrible, but definitely he was expected to make this big second-year leap.
Well, yeah,
and he hasn't done it. He hasn't had the opportunity.
He's still playing the same way that he's playing last year, and that's fine.
Well, he's settling for
Jaylen
more.
Brown, they're doing fine. They got guys that can go off on any night, kind of like how Milwaukee does.
Right, but I think Kyrie prevents them from going off every night.
I can see a part. I can see that.
Mark,
their assists do. I did notice a stat, somebody pointed out to me. Their assists do go down when Kyrie Irving is on the floor. So, I mean, I think they don't win games if they don't average more than like 22 assists or something like that. A stat that was pulled up before.
And when you have Tatum, Morris, and Kyrie on the court together, you're not getting more than 20 assists.
Yeah. No, those very
guys
true.
are kind of, I don't want to say offensive black holes, but once the ball gets in their hand, it's like a magnet. It doesn't leave.
I have faith in Brad Stevens, who I think is probably the best coach in NBA. I have faith in him to come up with a game plan that helps the team out when it's playoff time. I don't think they're really too worried about right now. I mean, why would they have to be worried? They've got,
I think what's happening,
they got 38 wins. They're in the playoffs regardless of what happens. Unless they go on even then, I don't even think they'd be.
I have another theory too, why the Celtics stuff has gone so bad. It's the regular season. Everyone picked them to come out of the East, right?
Right.
So everyone's been hammering them with that in all the press conferences throughout the season. I think it's just starting to get at them. And because, I think some of them are kind of, still fatigued from last year. Because, say what you will, the Bucks, when you go 7 games in the first round, you're tired. And then you got to go 7 games against LeBron, you're tired, right?
True.
Was it 7 games? What was it? Yeah, it was 7, right? Or was it? It was either 5 or 7. I don't remember. I know the Cavs swept the Raptors, and
Yeah,
but
no, I think it was 6 or 7. It was 6 or 7.
So that could be it too. But I really do think that in combination with the Kyrie's just awful comments, things you don't say about your teammates to the media, and they weren't even that bad. It's just like you don't still.
I think people are blowing it out of proportion.
The only thing you say, people are blowing it out of proportion. It's bouncing back to them. They see it. They're like, Kyrie, what the hell, man? We don't want all this crap around
How
us.
do you know that's what they're saying?
Well, I said this is just my theory, right? This is just my theory. That's what I think.
I don't
could
even
be
think the players are bothered by it.
I think they are. There's videos out of Kyrie and his teammates, like him and Jaylen Brown. He's trying to give Jaylen Brown instruction on the sideline. Jaylen Brown looks like he's about to blow his top and just lose it. Like, trying to give him a veteran lesson. And Kyrie's not even...
You're playing with a guy for 82 games. You know, like, you're with these guys for half a year. You know, it's going to happen. It's just...
It hasn't happened with the Bucks, though.
But that's almost the fight or the toughness. I don't know. It's almost like a test throughout the entire year to see how much you can go through, and then once it's time, the playoff time comes, that's the time to show in, to show up. And they kind of remind me how the Cavs were last year. Think about where they were. They were in the 4 or 5 seed during this time of the year. People were talking about come on, how much talk were the Cavs getting throughout this?
And that's why.
Then they turned it on, and then they swept the number 1 team in the East. Like, come on, these guys, especially a player as good as Kyrie Irving, they've got this different mold that a lot of players don't have when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah, they flip the switch.
Yeah, there's a switch. There's literally a switch. If LeBron was to make the playoffs this year, you'd see a whole nother player than you saw this season. Yeah,
playoffs brings out the best in every star. Sometimes the worst, if you're a Amari Stoudemire.
Oh God!
All right, all right. Let's wrap up the Celtics here. I want to give you a chance to tell me why LeBron's going to make the playoffs. I haven't talked to you about this before. I'm assuming you still think he can.
I want to know. He still can. Yeah, obviously he still can.
Well, I know. Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I was worried you were
There's 1% chance now. 1%. It was 3% a couple days ago.
14-4. They need to go to make the playoffs.
No, that's your number.
Well,
pull up the standings right now. They're only 5.5 games behind.
5.5 games.
And they're behind the Clippers and the Spurs, who have been very inconsistent this year. Come on, they have only got 6-7 more wins than them.
Clippers and Spurs both have.
What?
Okay.
So what do they have?
I was going to say they have
don't.
They both have easy schedules. The Lakers have.
Yeah. Okay.
The Lakers have an incredibly hard schedule.
They actually, since you brought that up, they have the 3rd hardest schedule in the NBA to finish up.
And that's why I don't think they're going to make it. That's
true, and I, at this point, I'm kind of like, I don't think they're going to make it either. I'm not going to lie to you guys, but at
when
the same
time says LeBron's done, that means he's done.
But at the same time, it's not LeBron.
It's the Lakers.
You can blame LeBron all you want to. The man is still putting up triple doubles every night. Come on, I mean he's putting up amazing numbers at age 34. Come on now, he's averaging 27, 8, and 7 or something crazy like that.
Who do you blame for trying to trade the whole team for Anthony Davis? Do you blame Magic and Pelinka, or do you?
You can't blame LeBron. If you bring up LeBron, come on. He
tell me why though.
Well, because you guys give him way more credit than he's not going into the front office. All right, let's trade this guy. No, he doesn't have that power. He might say who you want to play with. I wouldn't mind playing with Anthony Davis either. If you guys can make it happen, okay, let's do this. Let's win these championships for the next 2-3 years.
What do you think was discussed when LeBron signed with the Lakers?
What was discussed was that they were gonna build. I'm sure they were gonna build a team around him that could be a potential dynasty, and not only that, I guarantee you, maybe not now. They won't talk about it now, but I guarantee you, after his contract is up, if he still plays in the NBA, he'll go back to he'll re-sign with the Lakers, and he'll have a piece of the franchise. I think he's gonna get a piece of the Lakers eventually.
I think he already
If
has.
not, then he'll have strong management.
My argument is he already has I think he already has a piece of the Lakers franchise. This is kind of like a murder mystery. Who wanted Rondo to come to the Lakers? Who wanted JaVale McGee? Who's in charge of bringing all these scrubs?
What a lot of people don't understand, this year was not built to be a championship year for the Lakers.
Right. It was like how you were saying before with the first Miami Heat.
Yeah, it's just a year for, well, obviously LeBron had to sign somewhere, and he's not. They're not gonna play. He's not gonna play with these young players and be teaching them. This isn't LeBron teach mode. This is LeBron trying to go on his last push mode. So if you got to trade these young players to get some veterans in there and some superstars in there, sure, why not?
The Lakers are in a very bad spot though, outside of LeBron James. The organization is they're in the worst spot they've been in since they've been in the worst position they've been in since they signed LeBron. But I think LeBron's got to be the one to write this because I don't think Magic Johnson is a good GM. So I think LeBron needs to be the guy that says, "I want my guys. I want some guys here who are gonna help."
Well, and he's gonna say that, and he's gonna give his input on who he thinks should be on the team. But at the same time, he's still not in control of the pen. He can't write these guys contracts. It's up to the Lakers to decide on what the best move is for them. And obviously, they think it's championship now. Who cares about the future in 4 or 5 years? Let's get a championship while we got the best player in basketball. Why not? As a LeBron fan, I'm all on board for it, Right. Make it happen. Trade Lonzo, trade Kuzma,
Don't trade Lonzo. I don't think.
Why not? No. What has he done?
He's done nothing, but he's like the one guy who could provide some sort of future stability.
How? By doing what? What has he done?
Just continuing to get better, man. He's young.
He doesn't play enough games for it. And you know why? Because his work ethic. He doesn't go in the weight room. Doesn't he look the same from 3 years ago?
What are you basing that off of? Because I've heard quite the opposite.
What do you mean? I'm basing it off
quite the opposite.
What did you hear? What can you see that
Well, we can't see anything. And that's what sucks. You can.
You can see the growth from Giannis' first year to his second and his third year. You can see him getting stronger, at least attempting to work out.
I think Lonzo Ball's improved
No,
this year.
he has not. Look at his injuries. That's a huge part of injuries.
When he's healthy, I'm talking about. He plays better defense.
No, listen, Aaron. A huge part of injuries is having a healthy body. His body's not healthy. How many ankle injuries does he have? How many
conditioning?
Right. He's not a conditioned player.
Okay.
And look how he plays. He plays how he practices. I'm sure he plays lazy.
All right, you changed my mind. Based on the Lakers games I watched this year, I saw a different player in Lonzo than I did last year. But
maybe improving his shot or something like that.
Defense is what was the
maybe more effort.
I always forget the conditioning aspect. Yeah, if you're not going to condition yourself, that says two things.
Exactly.
You're not going to last through a season. You're not going to be. That means you're not.
Prime example, John Henson. He looked this. I mean, he might have put on 10, 15 pounds since he first came in the NBA. He looks the same. He looked like he never stepped foot in the weight room.
He's a big doughboy.
Exactly. Like, what are you doing, dude? You don't. It's not. It's like you're not even trying to work out. Well, compared to a monster in how LeBron is. I look at his dude. Loses the NBA Finals, and the next day he's in the weight room. Like you just, and that's why he's playing at age 34, like he's playing 10 years ago. He just, I don't know. I mean, minus the injuries. If it wasn't. On another tangent, if it wasn't for LeBron's injuries this year, I think the Lakers would have made the playoffs easily.
I think so too.
Easily.
What were they were before. They're 20-14 before he went down.
Yeah, and then they went 6-14 when he left.
Yeah, the whole thing. There was the injury, and then the stuff about basically wanting to trade the whole team for AD.
Exactly. It was just a bad year for the Lakers.
It's just
and that's fine. That's fine. again, this year was not built. They're not concerned about winning championship this year. I can guarantee you, they knew these young guys. It would have been the same story as last year. LeBron carried them to the finals and then lose, 4-0 because nobody else stepped up. It would have been the same story.
Well, I hope that matches up with your future Facebook posts.
Oh yeah, it will. I mean, unless LeBron unless they turn it on these last.
You're gonna wake up
games.
tomorrow, fresh cup of coffee. LeBron's winning it.
Hey,
this year.
if they win 10 games, I think the Lakers make the playoffs.
Fuck it, they can go 14-4.
If they win 10 games, that's it. Lakers are in the playoffs, and we're having a whole nother discussion.
On that note, I think it's time for us to wrap it up. It's been over an hour. It's been fun, Tyler. As always.
Definitely.
We're not sure when we'll talk to you next, but definitely excited to be back. The season's only going to get more exciting as we go on. I hope the Bucks can finish it off. I hope they can get to the finals. But I guess, next week, you think? Next week? 2 weeks? Whenever.
We'll do
like
next week.
Like I said, I don't have unlimited hours on Spotify. I only get 2 hours a month or something with this feeding program. So. But that'll do it for us. We'll talk to you next time.
Peace.